My name is Lawrence Schafer, and I am a Senior Chief Electronic Technician. So what's happening now, I came in the Navy, I went to school, I got trained, went to submarine school, went to 3 different submarines, and I'm finding out that I really like what I'm doing. And while I was on Narwhal, I was finishing that tour up, and we were in New London, and there used to be a Navy laboratory in New London called the Underwater Sound Lab. And they had a crew of about 25 sailors over there that worked at the laboratory with engineers developing new equipment and contracting and testing it. And I wanted that job, but the fella that had it, that I would have been eligible for, had put in for a extension, and one day I was at an office on the base in Groton. A friend of mine came up and said, "Larry, he didn't get his extension." I called my detailer in Washington, said I'd like that job, and I was given that job. I went over there. So that kind of really nailed my Navy career down, because I always wanted to be an engineer, but I never was one. But I worked with engineers, and I was treated like one. And I was part of an engineering team, and we wrote specifications, we reviewed contracts, we did testing from beginning to end. Putting a big system on a ship, making big ship, developing ship vaults. I was an FC rep at Norfolk Navy Shipyard to put the first system that we were working on another submarine. And that kind of got me into the business of knowing contractors. At the end of my Narwhal tour at the Sound Lab, I had to go back to sea, but it determined that I couldn't go on a submarine because I had developed cataracts in one eye. So, but I was at this time on USS Orion, which was a tender in the Mediterranean. And they told me that I couldn't go down on a submarine, couldn't be exposed to ionizing radiation. So I was on Orion for about 2 weeks, and the ship came alongside, and the division officer said, "Chief, I'd like you to go down and take a look at the periscope. You're having a problem." I said, "I'll be glad to do that. I just would like to get a letter from the captain telling me to do that." He said, "What do you mean?" So I went through the story of the cataracts and everything. And the letter never happened, so I never went down on a submarine again. But I did work in the repair office with the repair officer and an assistant repair officer. And we had a crew of about 300 people, and I had a couple divisions that I was division officer for, and I would work on evaluations of all those people for the various division officers that wrote them. It was a good career. But when I got out and we came back to New London, I walked off the Orion, came back to London, and 30 days later was retired. I was known in the contracting community in New London. And 2 days after I retired, I was working for a company that was a contractor with the Naval Underwater Systems Center. So I went back to doing virtually the same job that I did for 3.5 years before I went over there. And it was really a good career change, because I was in that job for almost 19 years working there. And it just, the whole thing, 20 years in the Navy and 20 years as a government contractor, all tied together, all because I selected the Navy when I was going to be drafted. And I'm glad that I did it.